This year we decided to focus on 3 brands to give us a little bit more time, but it's still a fast-paced session where we want to look in 3 different brands. And if I say we, it's a team of highly specialized doctors. The head of psychiatry, Alex Campbell from Field Fisher. He is looking for the mental health. So in legal terms, we have already here from last year, Tana Schmidt from Freo. You're a specialist actually in what? I think in overall health, overall health, and then we have the cardiology specialist for the design issue, Kevin Underwood from HKS. Would you be so kind to come to me to the stage? And we will kick it off with the first brand for today, and that is Canopy by Hilton. And Gary Steffen, who is adventurous enough to subject himself to a thorough analysis, will try his best not to look like his neighbor over there.
I was going to say, first of all, I'm feeling much better than my colleague here.
He was the guy from last year.
Oh, that's the same guy. All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity, doctors. I am feeling quite well today. Canopy by Hilton. Build yourself a great neighborhood hotel with the power of Hilton Performance Advantage, the #1 recognized brand in the world, Hilton. We will open our first hotel in Reykjavik sometime around June. If you haven't been to Reykjavik, make sure it's on your bucket list. In the heartbeat of the city. About 112 rooms. There's our signing event. We just announced London City yesterday. You'll hear more European locations in the next few days, but certainly global, Toronto, Washington, D.C. This is a brand with legs. We coined the term accessible lifestyle. What does that mean? That means it's accessible for 50-year-old millennials as much as a 27-year-old millennial. We want to be open and welcoming to anybody who wants to experience these great neighborhood hotels that has the great vibe of an energetic lobby and a great guest room experience. We also want to be accessible to owners. We know we can't be in the $500,000 a key to build canopies, so we want to make sure we're accessible for you to build us and return an ROI. 5 key takeaways. Canopy is all about great neighborhoods. We don't look at bad neighborhoods for Canopy. Market-driven approach. What does that mean? What's important with Canopy is a great energetic lobby, great guest room, but then we'll work with our owners on what you need to succeed. Rooftop bars, retail space, how much meeting space. We'll work with you on what makes sense. Comfort and design. This is not designed for design's sake, it's designed for comfort's sake. The idea of putting in purple chairs in the lobby because they feel right today doesn't last. We're designed for comfort's sake. And then finally, we've got more included value with this brand based on all of the research we did, and we've got a fantastic culture with Canopy. Just a few images from our great neighborhoods. Art will be, of course, critical to bring in. The location of our Reykjavik hotel is where they used to be able to tag buildings. They're going to bring that into the building. They're also going to talk about architecture, literature, poetry, music of Reykjavik. You see natural, organic, slightly eclectic, honest materials. This is what Canopy is all about. This is another example of the DC Waterfront Hotel. Again, organic, natural, eclectic materials, honest materials. That's what our guests want. That's what we're building with Canopy. Market-driven approach, I talked about it. This is an example of our Portland Pearl District Hotel. You see the great windows inviting people into this fantastic Canopy Central. Just a few other images because I only have 3 minutes. Our food and beverage offering, much more artisanal, locally driven. We've got the great display right here. We're also going to bring the neighborhood to life through evening tastings of local microbrews and wines and a small welcome gift from the neighborhood. And then finally, our comfort and design. We built out some great model rooms in our headquarters in McLean. You can see the honest materials, the bright, fresh, airy, uncloseted. You can see a canopy bed. And how is that interpreted then in our fantastic hotel in Reykjavik? You see the canopy bed. This was the home of a furniture factory, so they're bringing in real pieces from the existing furniture factory. But that is our Reykjavik hotel. Love the bathroom, comfort and design. That's really, really critical. And thank you for my 3 minutes of fame. Positively yours, Canopy by Hilton. Did I do that in 3 minutes?
Almost, great.
They give you 3 minutes. I can't even introduce myself in 3 minutes.
You mentioned honest, and we get now honest judgment call on the health in terms of the rollout potential of this brand from a viewpoint of an investor. Kevin, you look at it from a design point of view.
Or is it the legals?
First. We start with legal? Okay. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Then we go for the legal first. And Alex, if you be kind enough to look at it, what from a legal perspective, Canopy brand can bring to an investor?
Yes, well, Mr. Gary, I have been looking at your X-rays very closely and looking particularly at the contract types you use. The key feature of the brand, of course, is it is locally inspired design with tailor-made locations being designed for the city that they're built in. I wanted to check whether you're using management agreements or franchise agreements, and if franchise agreements, how can you be assured that the franchisee will deliver?
Well, fantastic question. Thanks for asking. Yes, we are management and franchise. The good thing about Hilton Worldwide is we've got such great franchise partners in our systems already. So if they have a proven track record, like, for example, our Icelandair Hotels group that operate the Hilton Nordica, they saw this opportunity to add to their portfolio this great lifestyle brand. We will definitely work with them because they get this space. So what our criteria is you must have operated an upper upscale hotel or above, or lifestyle kind of hotel, in order to be our franchise partner. But of course, with Hilton, we have a ton of them out there that have proven track records. Thank you.
That sounds very good, but you never quite know what antibodies they're carrying and what diseases and what illnesses they may have. So I'm going to have to give that a no. Let's talk about... I needed to start with a no. Maybe I should check my own blood pressure here. Let me talk about fees and costs.
Yes.
So the fee structure, obviously, it's a new brand. Would any franchisee that you might have appointed under this arrangement be a guinea pig for a new fee structure and something uncertain?
Well, I think the fee structure is consistent across all of our brands. When it comes to franchise, we've got a 4% program fee as well as a 5% royalty fee. Certainly, we want to work with our existing owners and ramping them up, et cetera. So we do have very competitive fees. We have, again, a proven track record of rolling out brands like DoubleTree by Hilton and Hilton Garden Inn, bringing Conrad and Waldorf to this region of the world. We've got proven track record, proven systems that justify these incredibly low fees that should give me a thumbs up.
That'll give you a question mark, but I understand that they're all published and
they are published.
That's correct. The thing that you're expecting when you enter into an arrangement.
That's
with
correct.
Hilton. Excellent, excellent.
Just think of the mix of business change you're going to get from being an independent hotel to coming with the Hilton systems. Sorry, that was an ad lib.
Let me talk about my next diagnosis then. My next question for you: skin in the game. There's always that debate about the difference of interest between the owner and the operator. Tell me a little bit about whether you guys put skin in the game on this.
Well, the answer is we're not building our own hotels, but will we work with our partners to make sure that there's a proper ramp up? Potentially there's some other deal terms we can negotiate, but we're not building our own hotels. Again, proven track record with launching brands that we don't believe that we've got to build them ourselves. But yes, we will work with our owners to make sure that the ramp up, et cetera, are in good spirits.
That gives you a thumbs up, I think.
I got a thumbs up. I got one.
And then finally, the contractual structure, the analysis that I always look at as a medical legal doctor. There are lots of different forms of contracts out there, and I know that you have lots of different brands is the new contracts that you're likely to enter into with this new brand going to be difficult or complicated or unusual for any potential owner?
Well, I've got a thumbs up already because it's Hilton. It's working with Hilton. No, I mean, listen, we want to get, if we're giving up our brand for these great neighborhoods, we want to make sure we're contractually locked into an agreement for 20-ish years because it is our brand we're giving up for that site. So we think that we've got the confidence and the brand power that warrants that. But absolutely, we're going to work with our owners.
Thumbs up. That's me.
Thank you. So I got 2 thumbs up. That's pretty good, right?
So Tana, from a financial side, your background is a developer. So what do you make out of Canopy from a developer standpoint?
Well, looking at the first point, which is investment costs.
Yes.
Quite frankly, for the 4-star product, which I assume it is, between 3 and 4 star is sitting right in the bandwidth what an investor would expect. One of the things I did mention to you earlier that I found your pre-opening costs quite high, above €1 million or £1 million for the products you have currently. And my question to you, is that driven by the marketing that stands behind the Hilton Canopy brand?
I think, to talk about that, when we utilize consultants to put these basically case studies together for a new brand, we like to just kind of put benchmarks in there. We don't have a proven, with the Reykjavik coming up, with London coming up, we don't actually have numbers from our owners as to what they're spending for pre-opening. So we like to give probably a number that's a little bit on the high side so that the owners understand from their own hiring of staff, the PR, social marketing, we want to give them a number on the high side, but they're also using all of our systems and our social media, our PR, our marketing, our sales that they get with Hilton. So the numbers on the high side, I see that probably number coming in a little bit lower than the number I shared with you, but that is the reason. We want to make sure we estimate on the high side so the owners understand the potential cost.
Okay. Try and sell that to a bank. Well, they have to pay twice as much. Okay, next one, tried and tested. I gave you a thumbs up here. However, in hindsight, you haven't actually opened one yet.
You're going to stay with Reykjavik in June. Come on with me.
However, I do believe, and with the brand DNA from Hilton, that I guess, and I'm pretty sure that most people would expect that this will be a success story. However, what I want to say is, when one reads all the glossy brochures, how polished it looks, the question that I also have for you, how will you give your guests the feeling they're not being let into an over-designed space and it's special?
Well, again, I think that goes back to the comfort and design. The local, natural, organic, honest materials that speak to where our customers want to be in these great neighborhoods is really what this brand's about. So, they're not going to walk into a space that's just completely designed for design space because that's yesterday's lifestyle. Today's lifestyle is much more in tune with what the customers want from a neighborhood hotel.
Okay, the next one is value enhancement. That is tricky. This is the bandwidth. What will a guest pay extra just because they're in love with your brand? In some places, it's €1,000 or £1,000 more, just really because they're in love with your brand. And this value enhancement, I think, is not only about the brand itself, but also the people that service the brand and about the training behind that. What is your take on this?
Well, absolutely. The service experience is going to be critical. I think that, again, proven track record with the rest of our brands, Canopy's got a very unique set of hospitality guidelines that we're going to be bringing to life through our team member enthusiasts at the property. I think, again, if you look at the rollout of Hilton Garden Inn with its unique culture, DoubleTree with its unique culture, Hilton with its unique culture, we feel very confident that we're going to provide the training tools for our team members to bring this great culture to life.
Okay, that brings me to the next one, which is the debt and exit potential. Because you prefer to operate under a management contract or a franchisees, unfortunately, there are certain markets, especially in Germany, that would be closed to a direct relationship with yourself. And in that respect, I feel that perhaps there's one advantage that you're not presenting to certain markets. I also, from looking at the costs of the pre-opening, and also the costs quite high per key, up to 150 British pounds per key, I felt that though the brand is protected by its parents and the Hilton umbrella, I felt that perhaps there would be questions by investors and questions by banks until at least one or two projects were tried and tested. So that's why I said thumbs up for the Hilton and question mark for Canopy.
And you're coming to Reykjavik.
Thank you very much. And finally, from a design point of view, what do you make, Kevin, out of what we've seen? Is it something revolutionary new or something you've seen many times before?
Well, I've looked at the cardiology and blood test results, and overall it's looking pretty healthy. I'm a firm believer in a good diet, and it appears like you've had a good diet. I don't like the guy who's been eating some of your food in your restaurants, but no, seriously, you talk about be honest and natural materials, and I want you to be very honest in the answer here. In your presentation, you showed teak for Reykjavik. Why are you using teak in Reykjavik? That doesn't sound very sustainable to me.
Yeah, so certainly that's a great question for Reykjavik. I can certainly ask the answer. I think that the approach overall, if you look at the approach overall that Reykjavik's taken with the concrete and the exposed ceiling and the great wood and utilizing the furniture from yesterday, which was a furniture factory, overall it's a very sustainable story. But I think that there will be elements that will be brought in that may not be 100% honest from a cost perspective or whatever it might be, a design perspective. But overall, I think if you look at what you saw from Reykjavik and some of the other photos, it's going to be very honest materials, and that's what we really want to bring to life.
I like it.
Okay.
You wanted me to be short because there's another patient coming in.
Perfect.
Typical doctor surgery, there's another patient coming in.
Yes.
Right.
So
okay.
the overall assessment is quite positive with an overall thumbs up. I was in Reykjavik last week, and the neighborhood is quite good, but Reykjavik is not that big anyway. It would be difficult to find a very bad neighborhood unless you're out in the ocean. But Reykjavik is certainly an eclectic destination as a first destination. But what is not known, it's probably the market with the highest RevPAR in Europe right now. So it might not be such a stupid decision to start it out in Reykjavik. I'm wondering if you have Reykjavik as a reference product and all other developers then have to go to Reykjavik to look at that one. That might be tricky. One challenge I see in some parts of the design, I don't understand why anybody still would put a desk in front of the wall that you have to write and looking at the wall. That is something beyond comprehension to me, but maybe that's some things, little elements that still could be ironed out. The key question is there anything totally stand out which makes it different from the lifestyle hotels? It sounds and looks very appealing, but I have not seen the real USP, which is a killer USP, which would give it a clear distinction. So maybe that is something to work on once you do the rollout in the years to come, to give your little baby a clear path to fame at a later stage.
And she's a beautiful baby, thank you.
She's a beautiful baby.
She's a beautiful
okay.
baby.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you.
Now we move on to the next brand, Evado, and Sheriff Hosni is kind enough for Meras Holding to give us an overview of this brand about which we don't know so much yet. So
yes.
Fill us in.
It's all discreet. Now, just to present, our new Evado. Meras has decided. Meras is one of the mega developer in Dubai. We are now decided to create our own hotels and resorts company. We are coming with 4 brands between boutique, luxury, and upper upscale and upper mid-scale. We are also having hotels operated by other colleagues in this room from other companies. So today we are revealing the first brand, which is called Evado, from this room. And I will let you go through already the brand story a little bit, and then we can talk after that. Go ahead. I will not talk, so you can read. So it's 1 minute. Sorry. So just you can notice from what the presentation that already our values is combined between to be intimate, discreet, unique, and creative. We are trying to bring something new to the market. People always boutique hotels, boutique hotels. People are confused with boutique hotels in many countries, okay, and many destinations. Think boutique hotels is 100 rooms. We are trying to bring something new to the market, okay, between providing a lot of differentiator between other boutique hotels and Evado. We will start our brand in Dubai. We are now 3 hotels under construction currently now. I apologize that already for certain reason, I prefer not to go into the details of the design, if you allow me for that. But what we can say is the following. What we would like to give you is to give you something which you feel that you have not got it in other places, not by only the personalized service, by only the design, but certain feelings that is different. For instance, maybe I can say something like that. For example, you go to hotels, what is already upsetting you in many of the boutique hotels and everything? You don't feel that, okay, you are in a normal hotel, but you have maybe different design. But what about the engagement you have with the people? In boutique hotels, you will have more time to be engaged with the people. You can get more facilities. We are trying now to do something, maybe I will say, for example, we don't go to have reception. You not check in, no check out. You have done all your check-in and check-out in advance. You are coming to your place. You're going right away. Okay, they escorted to your room, and you don't have to sign anything during your stay. You are like at your home. You don't want, okay, called by your name all the time, but people knows you, what you need. This is part of the things. That means already, and when you leave, we know you got all the information. Now you are attending any hotels, going to any hotel, what they are doing for you. Can I get back, okay, your passport, your everything, your information, what the kind of things. So we'd like to let you feel different than other place. We are not going to have already many rooms, but okay, our size would be already limited between 40 and 80 rooms already in this case. We would like to bring a new era of, as you know, for example, innovation is very important. What's happening in Dubai currently is everything is new. Everyone is competing, so competition is tough. So if you're not coming, okay, with a new brand, I know Evado is okay, something is new for everyone. But the point for us is we have always the best location. We are creating our own destinations because we are already having a lot of business units among our group, which it will facilitate already the synergy between all these things, between leisure, entertainment, food, retails, or the health, education. So this is creating a lot of loyalty among our already groups. Then in the future, we'll have also our already other brands coming already. We don't want to go out of Dubai currently. Our showcase will be Dubai. We are also the developer, already our holding company is a developer, and The operation company is decentralized from the holding company. So we will be able to control everything at the beginning to show the board that we are coming with something different. We will be going abroad after that, but in a way or other with a third-party developer. So the cost, okay, again, can go, for example, cost per key. We are talking about currently now about $660,000 per key. We are talking about around 50 square meter plus the room. And inclusive, of course, of the FF&E and OS&E and all the soft and hard costs. The FF&E and OS&E will be around 15 to 19%. It will be around, let's say, 100,000 to between 70,000 for FF&E and 30,000 for OS&E. I don't want to go for others if you want to ask questions, but okay, contracts will be simplicity about contract. We don't want to have already very difficult contract, okay? We will have a very simple contract, okay? One contract and one technical service agreement contract in this case. Financially, of course, is the point is very important is people are coming here to pay for service, to get for already something different. So we are not going to have more than 3 hotels in Dubai for the time being, because this we are attracting the special needs, family and their needs. We are average age, of course, to be between 20 and 50 years old. This is already the demography you are looking for, because now the youngest people are traveling a lot and look for facilities. The other people are buying all the luxury and sports car and already handmade cars. So are the people are looking for something different. I hope I answered some of the questions. So.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. I think you already took some of the comments. And may I ask our judges here, our doctors, to give a very short assessment. Alex, if you kick it off with the legal side, please, well, as much as you know.
As a legal doctor, I would like to say that you're a very good patient, because you've already managed to deal with quite a lot of my anticipated questions, particularly the contract type. You mentioned that it's a brand new brand. And so you're going to be the sort of operator and the developer and all the rest of it. So you're using a management agreement only at this point. So that, I think, is the best way of being absolutely comfortable that your brand is going to be properly operated and managed out. You also mentioned about other future brands and other partnerships and so on and so forth. I think we'll have to wait and see about those, because it's always difficult to know what might happen in the future. In relation to fees and costs, I think you initially mentioned this already. You're proposing a simple fee and cost structure. Would it be sort of 3 or 4 line items, something like that?
We are normally,
Easy to understand. Well, that's easy for this doctor to understand, so that's a thumbs up. And in terms of skin in the game, let me just check my notes. You've got centralized management arrangements and such like, but you're always prepared to look at sort of interrelationships with other developers and third parties who might be interested in arranging key money and refurbishment budgets and that kind of thing. Again, let's see, the proof in the pudding is always in the eating. And then finally, the commercial structure. There are a lot of new brands coming onto the market that are boutique, essentially brands that are, say, less than 100 keys. I think what you're saying to me is that you're offering very high-class luxury. You've talked about this new innovation with the reception or lack of reception, and to me that sounds like it's something that will stand out. So it's a thumbs up from me on that.
Thank you.
Tana.
Well, certainly the investment costs are about 4 to 5 times that of the previous brands. So there's a question mark there whether actually that's a value add in terms of the clientele. However, when I read, though, your notes, then I read, for the first time, I wish to have high net worth individuals only as clients, which is completely different positioning than we're used to hearing, rather than the warm, fuzzy words of mindsets and things like that. So at least you're very clear about what type of people you want to attract.
But this is, sorry, can I interrupt you here?
Yeah.
Okay, it's normal or not, okay, because, for example, when you are going to buy something luxury, the shops are selling all the luxury things. They are not expecting to have someone who would like to have casual things to come to buy already this luxury, already.
It wasn't criticism.
Yeah.
Really, it wasn't. Okay, so tried and tested. Well, I think your track record speaks for yourself. You guys know what you're doing in construction. You know what you're doing in development. So I give you a thumbs up for that. Value enhancement, I also really like the fact that you're being really clear about what your value proposition is to your guests. I know you haven't developed it yet, but I also know that you're going to spend time after speaking to your development managers, that you're going to take time to get the product correct. So therefore, value enhancement, I've given you also thumbs up. Debt and exit potential, I think it's too early days yet. You know, time to develop your product, and I guess we can talk again in 2 or 3 years.
Maybe less.
Thank you. So let's move to the design element.
Mr. Hosny.
Yes.
Mr. Hosny. We've known each other a long time, right? Yeah, you've been coming to my surgery for a long time. And
I'm still ill.
you are a typical middle-aged man. You haven't given me the urine sample. You haven't given me the blood sample. You haven't filled in your form about your diet you're eating. I have nothing to go on. How can I help you in your health? You show me nothing. I jest. The interesting thing that you mentioned is about the tailor-made, bespoke approach. Yeah. And so let's have a philosophical question maybe. How far are you willing to go to have that tailor-made approach before it starts affecting your brand value? If you're going to London, is it going to be completely different from the one you do in Dubai?
Same. We are trying, we will not be already copy-paste for each of the destination, of each of the location. We will have for resorts, we will have already for urban, we will have for countries. So we are aiming a lot to gain from the proper design according to the needs of the destinations of itself. Mm-hmm. Meaning that if I'm coming to Berlin here, I will not do the same like I'm doing in Dubai, in Norway. Mm. We know this very well. So that because of maybe the cost could be very high, depends on already the way the requirement of the people traveling in Europe are different than the requirement of people traveling to Dubai. And this is what we are trying to differentiate. So our showcases will be first in Dubai, and then we will go out, but every hotel will be different. In all our projects we are doing, we are trying to be different in everything. The differentiator is not on the service only or on the facilities, but on design and on the way you are dealing with future already owners of the hotel, because we will be owner now, yes, it's true, but in the future, no. So the point is that if you put yourself in a box, you will never be innovative. So you have to check firstly the study and analyze each market, and then we will have the best architect is very important, because we believe on 3 things always: design, people and service, and location. So location, this is number 1, AAA location is the most important thing for us. Design, you must have the architects who cannot copy. The problem sometimes, with all my respect to the people in the room who are maybe architects or something like that, that they are coming with the same design. I remember one day, we used to have an architect who came to work with us on a project. I didn't know, so it was a competition. I went to the room and I said, oh, I know this one. This is the same which I've seen in Bali the other last year. So it's only changing already some of, even the landscaping is the same. You cannot go to, for example, Asiatic place and coming to Dubai, you have to have the same landscape. So the point, we have to work with the architects who will understand what do you want exactly.
Sheriff, many thanks. May I cut it over here to move forward? So overall, we are a little bit unclear here, and we have not had enough information to give a real clear judgment. I think there might be a case, a severe case of a disease called oxymoron. Discreet in Dubai. That for me is. And a second judgment, why I think you have a limited development potential out of Dubai. It's simply when you develop a brand in the Middle East, in a place like Dubai, you design it with large rooms, you design it with lavish service structure. Where outside of this region can you do that? Where could you do it in Europe? Maybe in London, maybe in Paris, maybe in Reykjavik. That's about it. So are we going to see one of your products in Reykjavik soon?
We'll check, if we'll make money there or not.
Okay. But it is a challenge. When you bring a brand from a place where you have larger rooms and you go to a destination where you simply don't have the room rates to justify. That's actually American groups had to come up with at very early stage. If you do a budget hotel in America, say a Super 8, which has 28 square meters, that would not be a budget hotel here. So it is a challenge we all face where we come from and go to. So finally, thank you very much. Finally, we come to our last patient. Actually, after we have seen one with an American DNA, but with a lot of European influence, a Middle Eastern DNA, and now something with an European DNA. And allow me you will show us first the film, I understand, Frida, yeah?
Yeah, I have 3 minutes as everyone else here, so I'll try to stick to the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to present our new brand, Jazz in the City. Jazz was developed with today's customer in mind, with the desire for efficient operations and also in terms of returns on investment for our investors. It's a product that we believe is sustainable and will deliver the results that all stakeholders within the process will require. Happy to show you a video which will give you a little bit of an emotional impression of what we're actually trying to achieve with our new brand, Jazz in the City. So technology doesn't always work in our advantage, but yeah.
Okay, unfortunately we have to cut it here, but that's a problem of a rollout. If you have a new product, it sometimes may have some technical issues, but not your fault.
Luckily it was not my fault this time around. Good, so in a nutshell, what we're trying to achieve is really through our 5 hallmarks: art, music, the bar, the band, which is our people, and through our key development sizes, facilities, etc., we believe that we now have a brand that will be able to compete not only in the European German world, but also international. So, bring it on, doctors.
Excellent. Well, excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to have you in my surgery again. And let me talk about contract type. I've had a look at your X-rays, and I understand that you're generally using management agreements and leases to make sure absolutely that the brand Jazz is rolled out effectively in a manner that you feel is controlled and managed. So that gets a thumbs up from me. Fee structure. Tell me a little bit about fees, given this is a brand new brand.
Well, clearly we operate under all 3 different contract types on a general basis, but for the case of Jazz, we intend now at least for our first 5 to 10 hotels to go in on the basis of management and lease agreements to really assure brand alignment. In terms of fee structures, there's no further magic behind it. We really try to operate with agreements that works for every party involved, with fee structures that works not just for us as operator, but also for the developers, investors, etc. Terms of fees is always difficult to talk about with regards to leases. We're really looking at the type of variable leases with a minimum on the side. So
skin in the game, the interrelationship between the owner or the operator or lessee or lessor, whatever it might be. I've had a look at the details of the brand, and I understand that because it's so new that what you're looking to do is be open to different solutions in terms of how the arrangements might work due to the many different players involved. So I think that comes up as a thumbs up. I appreciate it's a flexible time for the new launch of your brand. And then finally, I wanted to talk about the contractual structure. We've already seen 2 other fantastic new boutique concepts. Tell me a little bit about how your brand stands out from some of the others.
Well, I think more than anything, especially in terms of contractual structure, fee, etc., we are probably differentiated in the way that we are able to really go in and adapt according to each and every requirement from our stakeholders. We work under different types of law, different types of structures, different types of agreements, and we have experience within every single different type of agreement. So I'd say that's how I see our advantage on that point.
Well, it sounds very interesting. Let's wait and see on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I gave you a thumbs up for investment costs because out of the 3 brands, you were clearly the most value for money in terms of pure cost. So if you just looked at it from cost perspective. At about 120k per key and FF&E at 20k per key, I felt that that was exactly where you should be hitting it in terms of, especially considering the expensive price of market entry real estate in the gateway cities at the moment. You already have an existing location in Amsterdam. I checked that out on booking.com about half an hour ago, and you're currently running at 9.2. So
correct, very
overall,
good ratings.
So I felt that was also showed that considering the opening at the moment situation that you're in, that you've set the ball mark quite high. Value enhancement. It's really difficult with these design brands to really understand and to really sort of understand the unique selling points between all of them. Everyone's out there doing it. Everyone's doing a little cool, quirky design lifestyle brand at the moment, and it's another one, another 25 hours rip-off or whatever it is going to be. So it basically is to see what I found very pleasant about reading the guest reviews across the board in TripAdvisor was that I think what you've done is that you focus also on your staff and the operation side of the model, which a lot of developers forget about how important that is. Because your exit is generally between 3 and 5 years, and so you need to be showing a well-run hotel in 3 and 5 years, and it looks like you're on a great way for that. That's why I gave you a thumbs up for that. Likewise, debt and exit potential is a question mark there. You're very well known, the brand Steigenberger, in the German-speaking parts of the world. However, you have a lot to do in terms of getting global recognition for your brand, and I'm sure that's part of what you're doing and part of your plan, your strategic marketing plan. I do notice that your rollout is relatively slow, 2 hotels per year for Jazz. So it's also not so aggressive, but something I think that perhaps Steigenberger or maybe Jazz needs to take away is what is its relevance outside of Germany and how do you attract international investors?
Thank you very much. And finally, the design issue.
Frida. Model patience. You filled in all your forms.
I bribed you well, huh? That's very good.
Yeah, you've given us videos, everything. So no, I love it. I love it as a design. It's very beautiful. I'm curious, who is this sophisticated explorer with the backpack on? Who is he?
This is the man on the street. It's probably everyone here. It's really trying to reach out to everyone who would potentially stay in a hotel. And I think what we've found is not just talking about generations, not just talking about the younger millennials, but also being able to use what the millennials find fascinating today to attract people that are not necessarily of that segment. So through our hallmarks, art, specific, very local, we believe that we can also attract that segment of across the board, not just the backpacker at the age between 18 and 20, but also those a little bit.
And how do you make a 24 square meter room feel like home?
Have
Looks
you been
great.
to?
How do you do it?
I'll be happy to invite you to Amsterdam, Jazz in the City. It's a great product. I think 24 square meters is more than enough to create a comfortable space. We've seen that in even other products where you even have even less space. And this is where designers, architects have become a lot more clever over the years as well. So I'm pretty confident that 24 square meters is more than enough.
Thumbs up, good.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Frida. With Jazz in the City, you have to be worried about STD, sexually transmitted diseases, like Sex in the City. But you got a good assessment from the doctor, so I think you're risk-free. Or your brand, I should say. So generally, you have to be careful what to say here. I think the question which was raised already before is, how do you stand out with a lifestyle brand when everybody else is doing lifestyle brands? And I think it's a challenge for everybody, something we raised already with Canopy. What is the real USP which nobody else has? Or is it impossible to have that?
I think it was great what Tarna said, and I think at the end of the day, we're a service provider, and it's our people that counts. And this is where what I think is unique with Jazz Amsterdam, Jazz in general. We have our team called the Band. Our bands, they are there not just to serve, but they're also there to entertain. They all have dual opportunities to serve our people, to entertain our people, and I think that's quite unique. It's something that we've had very good feedback on as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you saw 3 brands now, and please, if you have any questions to any of the judges or any of the developers, feel free to do so now. Please.
Was there a build cost on the Canopy? I might have missed it, but I'm not sure it was.
Gary said something you could answer.
Yeah, so the model that we created over here in this part of the world is about 140 to 150 in the UK, 180 to 190 in Germany, from pounds to euros. In the States, it's running 200 to 300 per key. So it's pretty much aligned around the world.
So to get this in perspective, your standard room size is how much?
It's going to vary. So we'll look at a 27 square meter room in London to a 35 meter square, in Dubai. So it's going to vary based on the market.
But in Europe, around 30 square meters, something like that?
Yeah, if it's in the core of the most amazing neighborhood, we'll look obviously smaller than that, based on the mix of rooms, etc.
So 25 to 30 square meters with about 200,000 investment. We have Jazz in the City with 24 square meters and about 120,000 investment. And you have more than these two together with 50 square meters and a slightly higher price tag. But still cheap for Dubai.
It's quality.
Quality, good. Any investors here, what would be your verdict? Where would you like to invest? With which brand would you like to build? Anybody? Please.
I would like to do the Jazz in the City.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really like the concept, for example. I think the big point is every employer has to play an instrument. So it's really a deep product, well thought of. And also from being an investor, 120,000, much more lucrative than 200,000 things, So I like it very much.
Mm-hmm. Any other? Gary, why should somebody spend more money and go into a Canopy as an investor?
Well, I think that our positioning is upper upscale. So if you look at that from a price standpoint, people's willingness to pay, compared to, I think, the positioning of Jazz, which I'm assuming is going to be more in that upscale range, I think that's really what it's about. And you know, she mentioned, I love the fact that you're basically musicians, and you know, our team members are called enthusiasts. So I mean, it really is the culture and how we're going to bring these brands to life, which is going to be the critical component in our success.
I was in a hotel a couple of weeks ago, and the unique feature of every employee was everybody had tattoos.
Yeah.
So I guess you're hiring.
Absolutely.
You're hiring differently.
There should be a lot of piercings as well.
Yes, yes, yes. One of the reasons I went out of the hotel business and went into consulting is because I had to shave every day in the hotel business.
Yeah.
At so stays.
That's gone.
That's gone. Okay, so I can come back. Okay.
One more thing, is it in that product cycle, lifestyle cycle, you know, what we talk about? I don't think size of the room is really important. It's more the product itself. And I don't see really, you know, why would I as an investor spend, you know, square meter is very expensive in those cities. And I think this is like maybe a wasted investment that can be better invested, you know, when I get the same gist, the same feeling. If the product convinced me, I don't really care. It's 24 or 30 or 35 square meters.
I think it's an interesting discussion. I actually had this morning breakfast with Mr. Müller from Motel One. And his main argument is the room is not where you spend your time and where you should not spend your time. And they go with 15 or 16 square meters, so even more radical than Jazz in the city. The question is, how low do you get? But generally, I think it's an observation of all of us is that the public spaces, especially the gastronomic area, play a disproportionately larger role than in the past. When I started 26 years with PKF, one of the first lessons I got was cut down on F&B. You lose money with F&B. You make money with rooms. Make as many rooms as possible, but don't do much F&B. And if you look at the Bikini House next door, the 25 Hours, they make more than half of their revenue with food and beverage, and almost half of their profit with food and beverage too. And this, I think, is a game changer. You have the F&B to attract the population, but you can actually make money. But you need a different mindset. And I think sometimes it's difficult for us from classical hotel groups and classical consulting to fully comprehend where we are going and where we have to take the pulse. Please.
As a now Londoner and architect designer, I found that this type of brands, they are giving more to the public areas because now people in the cities use more those hotels, while before the hotels were just for the guests, and now we are using them for meetings, for holidays after work. So it's very important. As I think I quite agree with him in terms of the room. The room is not as important. We don't need that desk because now we work on our bed in the meantime that we are WhatsApping or watching TV, or we will go downstairs and have a coffee while. The important thing, having Wi-Fi, having a good F&B, that's what really is all about. And it's not just for the 20s, but also for the 50s. So yeah, I think it's brilliant. The path that hospitality is going. I mean, that works for Europe, obviously. It's not for maybe for every place, but even in Africa, those things are happening. You want more F&B because people don't want to go out. They want to stay there and they want to spend money. So yeah, go for it.
Yes, I think it's a brilliant closing statement, but maybe one more statement from this gentleman.
Question on the room size for all planets. Don't you think as well that the influence of outbound markets like China or the Middle East itself coming to Europe, although there are real estate constraints on how big the room can be built, will still appreciate that sort of standard, especially within the upscale and upper upscale segment, and create value ultimately.
Okay.
I just go back to the positioning, and if you're really going to attract an upper upscale guest, you are going to expect a slightly larger room than you are at an upscale positioning. So I think that is a critical component, but at the same time, if you're going to develop in these incredible neighborhoods, you have to have flexibility because of the adaptive reuse nature or the new builds. So I mean, absolutely, size is important, but at the same time, great neighborhoods.
We have the second oxymoron of the day, Hilton and flexibility. Sorry.
It's a new Hilton.
New Hilton. It's a new one. So to conclude that, I recall a couple of years, 2 years ago, we got an inquiry from a representative of the Greek government because they wanted to privatize their hospitals, and they contacted us because we are hospitality consultants. And we had to tell them, sorry, it's not exactly the kind of hospitality as we understand. But one huge difference we have between hospitals and hotels. Hospital, you try to get out as quickly as possible. And listening to Evado, Jazz in the City, and Canopy by Hilton, I think we all agree these are places we would like to stay and maybe stay a little bit longer. So unfortunately, so we had no real brand we could totally bash today, but we had some critical comments, and I hope you can take home a couple of conclusions. Many, many thanks to our highly qualified doctors here. And many thanks to the brave representatives of the brands who were scrutinized here. Many thanks. Thank you very much. Goodbye.